How's it going, guys? Welcome to timelapse number 1 for Panhandle City V2. So I'm very thrilled once again to start this series with you guys. Start fresh with the city. I know it kind of is a little painful, but everything you need to know was in the information video. If you would like to know more about the plans for this city, all of that fun stuff, I'm not going to get too into detail here. I kind of just want to focus on what we're building today and what's going on in this time lapse. So if you haven't checked out the information video, make sure to do so. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get started with our very first build. And of course, you can't have buildings without roads. Well, you can, maybe. But it's good to start with roads first. It's just going to help in general with everything else. And so I'm currently here working on an interstate design, and I didn't want to go crazy with this one. Most interstates at least in the US, are very just long, and there's parts where they're just boring. They're just road. That's it, and grass. And so that's kind of what I was doing here, was just building that type of interstate. Now, the interstates can start to look really cool when you get into very downtown populated areas. If you remember in our previous city, in the previous version 1, I guess, of Panhandle City, we had kind of like the concrete medians with the guardrails, and then we had like the street lights coming out of it. And of course, it looked great. It looked, I think, phenomenal. However, we had that kind of going pretty much for the whole interstate the whole time. And I kind of wanted just to make a simple, more, rural type interstate where really all you see is road, and you have like a little dip of grass in the middle and then trees on the side, and like that's it. And so that's what I was going for here. You can see I was kind of messing with the spacing, but then I noticed my paint was flipped around. And so, yeah, but as you can see, it's pretty much the same style as in terms of like the lane size and everything from the previous city. That is not going anywhere, of course. And so that is what I chose to incorporate, at least, again, into the road system. I think the road system we had before was great. I think our layout wasn't perfect, and there was also some things I kind of just wanted to tweak going to the new city. So I get the chance to do that here. So you can see I kind of wanted to make a dip in the road, and I thought what better way to do that than with these kind of grass roads that kind of scale down. So I just grabbed a couple of different varying heights. I didn't really, want to make it perfect or anything. And see here me failing to use World Edit. Of course, it is kind of hard to get back into the groove of things once you've been gone for a while. But anyways, yeah, I just kind of went down on both sides just a little bit. And I think in the middle, I will add some like tall grass and stuff. I haven't quite done that yet. But we might add some grass and stuff just in the very middle. We'll see how that looks. So anyways, now I'm kind of just very quickly made a cut there. I expanded that road down by this kind of the south side of the quadrant. I'll show a picture now kind of highlighting where this is, at least on the map. And I just kind of expanded that down. And you'll also see it soon on Journey Map here in a minute. But right now I wanted to design a longleaf pine tree. These are everywhere in Florida, in the South in general. I'm sure you guys have seen these. They're just the most basic tree ever. They're very tall. They don't really have many branches. It's just like one big trunk. And then at the very top, there's like some tiny leaves kind of poking out. And so I decided I want to kind of design these custom trees instead of using vanilla trees, because while they didn't look bad in the old city, I think this will really, really give the new city a unique look and just make it that much more special. And also, a little more lifelike. It doesn't have to be perfect. Once again, it's a block game, but I think this will really make that difference that, is going to make it stand out a ton from our previous Panhandle City version 1. So yeah, you see the picture there of what kind of a longleaf pine looks like in real life. And here you can see I'm experimenting with the different brush tools, and I know you can like essentially paste these, and that's kind of what I was trying to do. You can like rotate them and then like paste the different rotations, but I couldn't get that part to work, the rotating part. And so I was like, well, okay, I'm gonna have to like, and since I'm using all the same tree here, and that's obviously not working very well, or at least it's looking kind of repetitive, I'm going to need to design just a couple different versions of these trees, like one a little bit taller, one a little bit shorter. And then from there, I can go ahead and paste them in. So yeah, you'll see I kind of come to that realization here in a minute. And I didn't want to go crazy on building these trees. I mean, eventually, they may even be removed for buildings or whatever. I just kind of wanted to get a general consensus on what they were going to look like for the most part, I should say. And yeah, so here's where I'm like, yep, they're too repetitive. I don't like it. And I think I go in and I yaga all of them right here. So, but you'll see, yep, there they go. And of course, there's some logs left over, but here we are. And yeah, see, now I'm just kind of making a slightly taller version. And then I think I make like a slightly shorter version as well. And then when I go and paste them in, it looks a little bit more organic. And we'll see. It may not even be the final revision, I guess, of how I want to do these pine trees exactly. But I think they look good. I think I designed them pretty well. I mean, they look similar as I could get them to look to longleaf pines. And so we'll take it. We'll take it. And so, yeah, you can see there we have those two. And let's see if I think I make a third one that's like kind of in the middle of these two in terms of height. So yeah, I'm thrilled. I think once again, the custom trees are just going to really make the city and look good. The other thing I'll also note is, so the paint I used for the sidelines of the interstate is actually the wrong one. It's the one, there's two different versions. There's one that's like on the very edge of the block, and there's one that's like kind of offset. And I remember we always used the offset ones, but I kind of forgot. And so I am going to have to go back and replace those. Later in the video, I kind of see what the mistake I made there when I'm going to like trying to connect up a diagonal road I start working on. And so, yeah, that was a bit of an issue, but oh well. We'll get it taken care of, and it's not too big of a deal. We can just roll edit over the ones we have, and that'll be fixed. And now I know from here on out. See, I'm just going in, and I try to do them pretty dense because they really are like hugging each other in real life. And so you can see I really make them just as dense as possible. And here I kind of go to like start to make a forest, but I was like, okay, I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to do a couple back just to make it dense enough for right now, and we'll change it as needed. Then I also kind of wanted to put some bushes in here. I thought this would really make it look just more dense. I really want kind of like a dense feeling, because in real life, like you can only see like maybe 20 feet into the bushes before it's just like, way too dense to see anything else. And so hopefully we'll get that look eventually. That's at least the goal. Right now, you can still kind of just see pretty easily through these trees, but not a big deal. I threw some bone meal in there. Once again, you're not going to see all these types of flowers necessarily in real life, but I do think adding the bone meal just, it just kind of makes it different. It's Minecraft, it's a little cartoony. I still kind of want that feel. So there was a brief view of the map. You can see kind of what I'm going to do now, or at least what I'm thinking of. Of course, there's the old city too in the background. Ignore that. The journey map still thinks that, it still has the part of the old city in it. And so I have to actually fly over there to update it. But anyways, you can kind of see what I was doing. I was looking at the map and I was trying to decide how I want to do a interchange right here, because this is where the interstate here is going to end. Obviously, it can't go much further as the mountains are getting close right there. And so I kind of have an idea in terms of how I want to do the interstate, since we are doing multiple cities on this island, which I did talk about all in the info video. But once again, just to remind you guys, if you haven't seen the info video, my goal is to make like a sort of a grid with the interstates, pretty much just a giant square with a plus in the middle. And those are going to be the main interstates that get you around each city. In whatever, I don't even know what we're going to name the county yet. Maybe I haven't made the info video yet, so maybe I'll know it by then. I'll ask Slaw what he thinks. Anyways, whatever the county name's going to be, yeah, there's going to be 4 cities in the county. And so we're going to have them connecting all up with just a giant square of interstates with a plus in the middle. And so, yeah, this is kind of where the east to west road of the interstate is going to meet the north-south road. So I can't remember the numbering system I did. I believe this east-west road that I'm building right now is going to be Interstate 5, and then it's going to go 10 and then 20 at the very top, and then the north-south are going to be, I think I decided on 75, 85, 95, because those are the most eastward interstates in real life. And so I guess this one here would be 75. The middle one would be 85, and the right one on the right side of the island is going to be 95, which makes sense. So a lot of cool ideas. Once again, be a long time till we see them come into fruition. But you know, we have a better sense now, kind of what we're doing here with the city, and also just our speed is going to be a lot quicker because we know how to use World Edit properly, we know how to use schematics properly, and you can really go far with that. With that being said, this overpass does take a long time. I don't even finish it in this video. I will finish it in the next time lapse, so stay tuned for that. I kind of just spoiled that I don't finish it right now, but you'll see. Anyways, so I used actually every single step of road right here. So it takes 16 full steps to get to one block. And I did that up to 9 blocks here. So it's a very long ramp, but I think that's very realistic. It's something you see in real life. And it's also going to allow me to make the ramp onto ground. And so that kind of had to decide what style I wanted to do. If I wanted to do just an entire bridge with supports going up, or if I just wanted to build it onto like a mound, right? Like the earth slowly, gradually goes up. And I decided the earth look because I think it's going to look the best. You'll kind of see what I'm talking about towards the end of the overpass build. But I think it's going to work the best here. It's going to look really natural. It's just going to look really good. And so, yeah, these, of course, overpasses, interchanges, take a long time to build, no doubt. But they are, you can see here too. Let me hold my other thought. There's diagonal roads in the new version of Freedom Cruise Roads. I was like, that's really cool. We could probably use these in a really cool way. They crash the server every time I try to use them. So I was like, you know what? It's fine. We haven't used them in the past. We can live without them. They would have been cool to see, though, how we could have actually used those diagonal roads to make something pretty unique. But, you know, like I said, that's fine. We're gonna figure that out. We're gonna see what we need to do when it comes to diagonal roads. It's not a big deal. We've done it in the past, so we will certainly figure that out. Anyways, yeah, so like I said, these take a while to build, but they're worth it because to me, these really are like the cream of the crop of like road design that you have to do in your city is when you have two roads intersecting and you need to like, you know, do the lanes and stuff. Because you get to be creative with how you want to do it. There's obviously a lot of real world examples. And of course you could, I guess, design your own. But here I decided I want to go with a trumpets interchange, and I'll show you guys a picture of what those look like right now. And yeah, you can kind of see what I'm talking about in terms of what the trumpet looks like, and you'll see kind of where I'm going here. So these are going to be the two roads that go over and then curve and then make the trumpet. So it's going to look cool. I'm really thrilled to get it done. The only part is I don't know how I'm going to curve in the air. Or in the air, I should say. I don't know how I'm going to curve the bridge yet. That one's going to be tough. I mean, in terms of the paint and everything, it's totally doable. The little guardrails, though, however, I don't know how I'm going to do those. So we'll have to figure that part out. That one's going to be... We'll have to come up with something creative, but... Really hoping I can do something in terms of... Because I want to be able to do it, like, kind of go straight a little bit, diagonal, straight, diagonal, and then back down. I don't want to make it super complicated to where it looks bad. We've had times in the past where we've made extremely complicated and unsymmetrical overpasses or interchanges on roads, and it just doesn't look good. It doesn't. I think you don't want to let good be the enemy, or you don't want to let perfect be the enemy of good, right? You hear that saying. I love that saying. And I try to use it a lot when I'm building or designing things like this. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good, because you can get carried away with making things perfect. However, in real life, things are not perfect. They don't look perfect. They're just not. And so you have a little room here you kind of want to incorporate some of that jaggedness, but at the same time, when it is in Minecraft, things look a lot better when they're symmetrical and there's at least some fluidity, some consistency with your builds, especially when designing these roads. And so that is important to me. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it does need to be consistent, and it does need to look nice and appealing. It doesn't need to just be functional. It needs to be a little more than functional. It needs to be actually kind of nice to look at, especially when it comes to these kind of more complicated interchange designs. It makes all the difference in the world. I don't know if I have a picture of the old Interstate interchange that we had, but it was terrible. It was so bad. And you guys remember the 4-leaf clover from the old city. I'm sure you guys remember that. And you could just tell how much better it ended up looking. And so that's kind of the same kind of idea, that I'm going for, is just to have that symmetrical aspect to each one. And, it just looked clean, right? Don't know how much more to explain it besides that. Anyways, we will be doing some more. We'll have a 4-leaf clover probably in the very middle of the island, just so we can bring that back, and we know those are not very difficult to do. I want to incorporate like a Y interchange. Those are cool to do as well. We could do really a lot of ideas. I want to try to have like kind of one of each, just to keep each interchange really unique to each area and each city. I think it'll be really neat to do it like that. But anyways, I'll kind of try to comment more on what is actually going on now. So you can see I kind of built the 2 main ramps going up. And now I kind of decided I want to do like a small little concrete slab under the bridge, just to show that, hey, this is kind of like how it's supported. There's a little bit of concrete support there. But also, then I have to kind of design the hillside mound. And this part can get finicky quick. And, once you work out those quirks, it's really not so bad at all. It is not very tough to deal with. But, in the moment, you do have to just kind of experiment and say, look at stuff, be like, oh, I don't really like that. Let me change it like this. And, it's really not too bad. But it is probably the most time-consuming part. Because once you get the style you kind of like down, then you can, for the most part, start copying and pasting. And it's really not too bad. But just getting that initial style can be quite difficult. Once again, you can see what I'm talking about. These barriers that are up right now, I think they look really, really good in terms of the bridge. And I've always used them for these type of interstate overpasses. And so, once again, I just have to figure out kind of how to diagonal them. You probably can't. And so that's kind of the issue that we're going to quickly run into. We'll see what we can do. We may have to change them entirely, or one that can go diagonal, just to kind of keep it consistent, I would say. It's going to be interesting, but I want it to all look good, like I said, so we'll figure something out. These parts are very tedious and long, but once you get them all completely done, just make the area look so unique and really stand out. And so it's going to look great. But as you can see already, we're going to have to we're going to have to delete some of those trees just to make room for this thing, which is fine. And then in terms of, that's going to be 75 north-south, which is the road that has the trees on it. In terms of where or how that's going to end, I haven't quite decided yet. It's probably going to go down into an intersection, like a light. And from that light will be a arterial road, probably a 4-lane arterial, similar to like Dolphin Boulevard from our previous city. and that'll be kind of one of the main roads that goes through the kind of mountainside city that we have planned. I'm not too sure exactly what it's going to be based off of yet, or even themed. Have no idea. I haven't got that far yet. But we are going to, theme it around probably a real life city in some regards. Anyways, that'll be one of the main roads that goes into that city. Essentially, the interstate will just end right there at that intersection where the arterial road will be. That's the goal, at least. I think it'll definitely take some time to design that. But at the same time, I don't think it'll be that bad. It is difficult when you're working with, trying to end roads in Minecraft, straightly. I try to avoid curves as much as possible because it does make life that much more difficult. Of course, having a few of them can make things look very unique. Like I think on the 4-leaf clover, the diagonal roads that cut over, or not over, but I guess, to the sides of the leaves. I think those look really good. And of course, it can be shown that the diagonals can look good. However, you have to be careful with them because they can get ugly quickly if you don't kind of maintain them. And so, but I'll also show a picture right now of the previous Overstate Interpass that I built. And I think this one looks incredible. Definitely one of my best designs I've ever built in terms of Minecraft in general. And in the city, I just think it looks really great. And I have the same ambitions for this one. And so we'll see, hopefully, by the time I'm talking to you guys in the next time lapse, hopefully I'm excited and that it all looks great, because I'm a little nervous still of how I'm going to pull it off. But we have a good start here. We have a good foundation of what I build in this video. Once again, I don't want to make these time lapses too long. And so that is one thing I'm avoiding, making these too long. But anyways, that's why we're going to cut it here. And in the next one, we're going to finish it off. Maybe even get started on some buildings. It's hard to say. I think what I'll do is finish this interchange here and start that arterial road that's going to go into this other city. And once we get that main arterial, then at that point we can actually start building stuff on that road. Obviously, you don't really want to build anything on an interstate apart from some rest stops and exits, which we'll have plenty of those too, don't worry. But I think it'd be fun just to go ahead and get, we could even start an exit and then start the city. We could do something like that. There's a lot of things we could do. But at some point, we are going to need to actually end this interstate as well. And what better way than to go ahead and start a road, do it that way. Anyways, that's future talk. Won't worry about it too much. Excuse me. So yeah, you can see here, I'm like trying to figure out what is this flip command? How does this work? And I was like, oh, yep, I got it. So the flip command OP, as you can see, I just was able to essentially flip all of that over and done. Easy. Love World Edit. It's so great. So anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this time lapse here. I really hope you guys did enjoy. As you can see, made it pretty far. Got a lot done. I mean, this is a great start. I can't ask for more. It's going to take a little minute to kind of really start seeing like a city develop. But that's to be expected. You got to get roads down. And I kind of got ambitious with wanting to do this trumpet interchange. And so still at the same time, can't be too mad. I'm really thrilled to finish it and to actually get started on the city. We can do subways now. We can do all that stuff. Once again, all that I mentioned in the information video. Make sure to go check it out. Without further ado, thanks guys for watching. Hope to see you in the next time lapse.